So Prabhupada says in this lecture, Prabhupada gives the example of Bilva Mangal Thakur. How at the right time Krishna will make the right person to speak this right thing, and in those words there will be potency, and that will bring about a transformation in that jiva. Because Bilva Mangal Thakur is a very interesting example. He was he had developed an attachment for a prostitute, and he would go and daily visit her, very attached to her, very fond of her, very affectionate to her. And one day, his father's Shraddha was there. He had to perform the rituals of the father's Shraddha. And his mind was somewhere else, although he was doing the Shraddha and the rituals. And quickly he finished the Shraddha, and then he wanted to rush to go and meet this prostitute. And that day, there was heavy rain. And the river, he had to cross the river. Usually he would go across the river in a boat, and there was no boat service available because it was raining like anything, and the river was flooding, and no one would risk going across such a raging river in a boat. So Bilva Mangal was so drawn to that prostitute, he jumped into the river and started swimming. And he was being pushed by the waves in different ways. And he was almost being lost. And suddenly, when he was being thrown away by the waves, suddenly he held on to something which looked like a stiff, something very stiff. And he thought that, okay, now this will save me. And when he looked at it a little carefully, it was a floating dead body. You know, when the dead body in the river becomes stiff and it was floating. But nevertheless, he was so focused on getting to the prostitute. Somehow he held on to the dead body and crossed the river, and then rushed to the prostitute and knocked on the door. And she was thinking that, okay, today Bilva Mangal won't come. She opened the door and she was shocked to see he was there, drenched in water. And then she welcomed him. And he described to her, you know how I made it today? You know how I came to see you today? This is how I did. I crossed the river. I held on to a dead body and crossed the river. And I came to see you. So the prostitute was very astonished to see that kind of an eagerness. And she made a statement, I wish you had the same kind of eagerness to see Krishna. And your life would have been successful. And just those words of that prostitute struck him so seriously, it started thinking. Actually, because Bilva Mangal was a great devotee in his previous life. And somehow he had gone astray in this life. But those words were so momentous, was so special. And those words struck him. Immediately he left the home of the prostitute and started walking towards Vrindavan, and later on became a great devotee, Bilva Mangal Thakur, and became a great devotee as a Bilva Mangal Thakur. And he wrote many, many wonderful books, Krishna Karanamrita. He was actually a predecessor to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.